genuinely, the heart is the portal to everything that you desire. From my level of ignorance before the retreat, I didn't really understand how important opening the heart was. On the first day, one of the meditations we did, we just sat there for an hour and opened our heart and felt what our heart felt like, and opened our heart more and opened our heart more, and felt love and felt in love with life and fell in love with our heart and fell in love with our path. Literally just opening our heart for an hour and learning how to master opening our heart. And obviously all of his teachings build on each other. I'm going to try to explain to you guys why opening your heart is so important, especially for the work that I do of like getting out of survival and like creating heart-centered content online. This is all going to tie in together. So I think this is a beautiful just like share and story. So he does work with the energy centers. Some people call them chakras. He calls them energy centers. He has 8 energy centers that we work with a lot. And a lot of people know that the 3 lowest chakras are like your survival chakras. They're like right here, if you're watching the video, right here and right here. So like right above your breastbone is where your 3 lowest chakras are, right below your heart. When your energy is stuck in those 3 lowest chakras, you are in survival mode. When you are in survival, this is measured scientifically, there is no electromagnetic field around your body. You are not magnetic at all. You have no electrical charge. You're not magnetizing things towards you. In fact, you have 0 electromagnetic charge. It's just like you're just a magnet that's not working, right? As soon as you get to your heart, the heart's frequency and vibration is above the speed of light. So you're automatically now creating an electromagnetic field around your body. This is now when you're calling things to you versus going out and getting them matter to matter, right? The example I always give for matter to matter to calling things to you is, let's say you're trying to get a boyfriend. You could swipe on the apps for go on 20 dates and you're going to find a boyfriend, and that's totally fine. Like creating matter to matter is not bad. We do it all the time. But like when you're working with the quantum field and when you're magnetizing situations and people and clients to you, you just are walking on the side of the road, walking your dog, and your man bumps into you. You know what I mean? Like it just happens. Like you magnetize that situation to you. And the reason we get in our heart is because when we're vibrating at that speed of light, now we're speaking to the field. Now we're speaking to the quantum field, and the quantum field vibrates above the speed of light because you can't see it, right? You can see everything below the speed of light, but as soon as it gets above there, now you are in the quantum. On top of that, as soon as energy reaches your heart, it always can go up now. So it's going to talk to your brain. And Dr. Joe talks a lot about brain and heart coherence. The way that you get brain and heart coherence is bringing all of your energy to your heart. The reason I'm saying this is because it really just solidified that the heart is the portal to everything that you desire. The most beautiful teaching that I have from this is that he really talks about how all energy, even the energy of this room in this empty space, all energy carries information. There's information in everything, right? This world is 0.0000001% matter. The rest is energy. And in all of that energy, there's so much information, right? He really talked about living from your heart and listening to your heart. And he's like, most people think that listening to your heart is not logical. But if all energy, your heart is sending energy to your brain that's informing the brain with a decision, if all energy carries information, then when you follow your heart, you're actually following the divine intelligence. Like you're actually following the most important information that you could, the information from the source. So I just thought that was such a cool teaching and reminder that when you're following your heart and it doesn't seem logical, it's actually the most logical. And I always talk about that. Like you following your purpose is following your intuitive heart, right? Like following those calls and those tugs on your heart. And just your heart is so intelligent. It's the portal. It magnetizes anything that you want. It gives life. It is the source, right? If you have a heart, it's the same heart that everyone else has. That energy is part of the bigger energy. And I just realized that in this, like, wow, the heart is so important. And even in moments of hardship that I've had, over this last week, I just go into my heart. When I can't figure something out, I'm like, just go back to your heart. Your heart has the answers to everything. So that was one of my best takeaways. And just a quote to kind of round this point out is the brain thinks, but the heart knows. And I think that that's just a beautiful reminder that if you are having this beautiful intuitive call to quit your job or leave your relationship or reach out to a friend, like follow it. Your heart is so intelligent and will never lead you astray, but you have to trust it enough to allow it to lead you. This next takeaway is around surrender. And he said this quote that I'm going to share, and then I'll unpack what it means for me. It said, "Surrender is a never-ending process of believing something greater can occur." So much of this last year of my life was left up to surrender. It was believing in something that I couldn't see yet, believing in a vision of the future, and believing that it could turn out better than what I was leaving behind. And as someone who feels like they really got a masterclass in surrender this year, it is that. That is exactly what surrender is. It's just believing that anything that's going to be taken away from you is going to be replaced with something bigger and greater than you can ever imagine. But the work really has to occur when you can't see it yet. You don't need to surrender when you can see the path, when it's all clear. You only need to surrender when it's unclear and you don't know how it's going to turn out. And you really have to fall more in love with your future than you are with your past. That's like literally the line that helped me get out of my rock bottom of like, if I can't believe that my future is going to be so much better than my past, I'm going to be so in love with my past, I'm going to be miserable. Now I'm just committed to the divine unfolding of my life because I've trusted in the unknown and surrendered so much. I'm like, wow, everything really is like unfolding better than I could have thought. I'm more me. I have more money. I have more success. I have more aligned friendships. I have more aligned relationships in my life. It's only getting better. And I had to let all of that go to see that. And you really only get to trust and learn how to surrender by just doing it over and over again and seeing that it always just ends up better. And one of the biggest things that really goes along with this is identity work really is the root of change. You have to change and figure out like, who do I actually really want to become? And if I was going to become, let's say you want to become an abundant person, right? How would an abundant person walk? How would they talk? What would they believe? What would be the thoughts rewiring in their head? How would they spend their money? How would they feel when they're spending their money? So much of his work is this mental rehearsal aspect of it, of like, rehearse you being the abundant person. Rehearse how you would walk, talk, think, act, believe, all of it, and become that. Really, it's just becoming that. And this is so true because, you know, in my 60-day challenge, I really healed my abundance mindset. And that's how you do it. You become a person that's abundant. It's not about the money. It's about who you're becoming. You're not doing it to get money. You're doing it to be an abundant person. And you don't need money to become an abundant person. You just need to become the person that walks, talks, acts, and thinks like an abundant person, and abundance comes to you. I know that sounds like foo-foo spirituality, but when you actually understand that it's a frequency that you're walking in and you're playing in and you're holding all day long, you will understand money. And I'm not going to go too much into it. I probably should do an episode about money eventually. So if you want one, just send me a DM on Instagram. It really is about that. To add on to the identity work, it really is so much becoming conscious of your unconscious programming. I mean, I teach inner child and hypnosis work, and something that I always really drive home is just the fact that 95% of your reality is based on your subconscious programming. And that's what really you're doing in Dr. Joe's work, is you're becoming conscious of that unconscious programming so that you can start to change the program, change the way that you're operating, change the way that you're just automatically firing and wiring your thoughts, so much so that you become a different person. This is why I also am like, this work's not for everyone, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work. And I know that not everyone is committed as me to sit in an hour meditation a day, or is going to go spend a lot of money on their transformation. And I have no shade around that. I just know not everyone's wired like me. But if you are committed to your growth, like the things that you can do with your life are just so amazing. It's just so cool how we really do create our reality.